Hey, my son, another life lesson for you. This one's based on the letter C. Communication is to be clear, concise, and complete. Now, this applies to all conversations we have in life, whether you're trying to communicate an important agreement in your business or whether you're just having a nice conversation for personal matters. It all needs to be clear, concise, and complete. Now, I recall as a kid, I often used to pause when I was thinking because I wanted to make sure I was going to say the right thing. And you know what? That is very important. We always need to think first before we speak up. Don't want to say something totally silly or unthoughtful. However, in our conversation, we need to say what we mean and mean what we say. So just be clear in what you want to say it confidently, and get it out there. Now, concise. I'm sure we've all had the experience, maybe listen to a political speech or a pastor preach a sermon on Sundays where your thought afterward is, wow, I could have said all that important stuff in a few minutes. And yet he took half an hour. Oh my goodness. Well, when someone is given a sermon, they do want to add extra ideas to clarify their point. They do want to give some extra stories to try and make that personal connection with each and every person in the room. So there's extra content in a big speech or a sermon than what is necessary in a face-to-face conversation. However, we understand that point. If you got something to say it clearly and be concise. Get to your point. We don't want to lose people on distracting side stories. We want them to stay connected to our thought and our message, what we want to say. And thirdly, be complete. Now, there's a joke we have at where I work. There's oftentimes there'll be some little quiet moment in the task of the day, and might share a little personal story with a coworker. And yet, halfway through a story, we get interrupted by a customer or a client, and that's hey, that's the job. That's what we're there for. So that our personal stories pause, but then we'll joke afterward that a short personal story ends up being broken up into 3 or 4 different chapters as we get interrupted by clients, and there of course are the priorities, so that's fine. But our personal stories get a bit complex. We have to pause and think back to where we left off and get back to the punchline of the story. So that's real life. But in your conversations, be intentional to be complete in getting your point across. We don't want the other person to have to fill the gaps and assume things. If we aren't clear, they might be confused about what we're trying to say. That's not good. If we're not concise, well, they'll probably get distracted and their mind's going to wander off anyway. But we want to make it complete so they don't go away confused or having to assume part of the story. So make this your mindset. Whether in formal business or personal conversations, say what you mean and mean what you say. Be confident in what you want to tell people. Get your ideas out, because your ideas are important. And in your personal relationships, it is very important for you to always share honestly, be transparent, and just have that real connection with the people that you love, your family, your friends, whoever you're building that special relationship with. Always communicate as best you can, as often as you can, every day. I love you guys. I want the best for you. I want you to communicate well and build real relationships through honest communication.